Bit of a sketchy situation here with the laptop just falling off the couch. I don't know why I'm doing this live. Well, I guess I'm here to promote the podcast that, I don't know, I'm kind of like uncomfortable with people listening to it, but at the same time, I might as well promote it. I got nothing left. I got no rambles right now because I said it all in the podcast today. So this is awkward if it is just going to be me, but I don't usually live stream at 2 in the morning. The other time I did a live stream at 2 in the morning, I didn't have the chat on. So it was a ramble sesh. It was meant to be, and I had things to talk about, but I don't know if anyone's going to be joining tonight, so I'm just gonna be here eating my beef and pickles. I'm trying to be healthier. I'm doing, I don't know, I don't really have rules with the food, but I guess I'm not sitting here eating McDonald's like the other day, so it's progress. I do have iced tea. Oh, Caravaggio, how you doing? I have iced tea. I'm having some sugar, but I'm balancing out the sugar with the pickles and the beef and the smoked salmon. Does GM mean good morning? I'm guessing. Good morning. I feel like I really don't have anything to talk about for once. What am I gonna do? It was stressful carrying a solo podcast. The first episode is out of Earth Drama, the podcast, and it was a solo episode. I think I'm gonna have my partner Sean on some episodes, so stay tuned for that. Okay, we have some people. There's 5 people that are here with me while I eat my pickle. Like, this is so awkward. I don't know why I'm here today. The first episode of the podcast was about being in hermit mode, and I'm still kind of in hermit mode, but I'm like half in. I think starting the podcast gave me some zest for life, and I posted it tonight. I posted it like a couple hours ago, and then I just didn't want to sleep, and I just had caffeine later in the day. So I'm just feeling way too wide awake right now, and I'm totally just messing up my sleep tonight, and I have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow, but it's usually what happens. This is me procrastinating. What is a podcast about? In general, I want it to be about all things Earth drama is what I call it, but that encompasses my own personal petty drama within myself and my neuroticism, but then also it's like societal Earth drama, so I'll probably get into some political topics. I talked about Blake Lively in the first episode. Like, so I stay tuned with the celebrity drama and stuff, but I don't know, I have like I like to feel I have like a unique take on things, kind of like, so yeah, I don't know. I spoke about, like, the first episode is called it's just called like number 1, hermit mode, Blake Lively. What's the third thing? Blanking. we're all enmeshed as a society, I think it is. So those were the topics that I rambled about. I don't know, I had like a little bit of a plan. I had some topics, but then I don't know, it just went where it went, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I managed to get it on Spotify, which was fun because I thought you had to pay. Thank you, Cookies. Thank you for appreciating the mullet. I've been taking better care of it these days. I actually realized I was over conditioning my scalp. I think that is what has been making my scalp eczema so much worse. So what I've stopped putting conditioner in my scalp. Like, I've known that you're not really supposed to. I did put it like a little bit on the top, but like because of the eczema on my scalp, fun place to have it. I have this special conditioner that's meant to be put on your scalp. Like it's like got peppermint stuff in it that makes your skin, it gives it, like, for me, itch relief. It's like a tingling scalp conditioner, but it's still too much. It's too much conditioning. I got scalp psoriasis shampoo. It helps. LOL. Oh my gosh, Eddie. That freaking sucks. Like, as far as I know, like, eczema is not as bad as psoriasis. Yeah. What kind of stuff do you use besides just like shampoo to mitigate that? My trick that I discovered, because I needed to have like the peppermint from that conditioner on my scalp because of the itch, what I did the last 2 showers is I got some essential oils that aren't actually oily because they're just like purified. It's like liquid, right? So I got tea tree and peppermint, and then I mix them now just in my shampoo. So I'm not putting that conditioner in my scalp, but I'm getting the itch relief by the peppermint. But you got to be careful you don't get that in your eye, because I did the other day. It actually wasn't that bad. It was like, I think, a subtle amount, but it's really easy to get it in your eye, I feel, when you're like washing your head and it's all like dripping down into your face. I got a rash, man. Team rash. We all are having rashes tonight. That's pretty much it, honestly. Thankfully, you can't even see it. It comes and goes. It's not too severe. Tea tree's good. I've done it. Yeah, that's good that it's like not crazy for you. At least, yeah, when it's on your head, like, if your hair's covering it, you can't see the rash. But for me, it's also like it's hard to get at, like, to treat it, right? Because anything you put in your hair, it's like, it can be very prone to making it greasy. Like, I don't know, they probably suggest putting like creams and lotions in that, but like you can't really do that to your head. So I got my oils for the shower, but like if I, start getting an itch through the week, that I like on the days that I'm not showering, because I don't shower every day, and I don't want to like, I'm really burpy. I don't want to dry out the scalp by washing my hair too much and stuff like that. I think I was gonna do like the tea tree or peppermint. Like, I was just gonna mix it with some water, put it in a spray bottle, and then spray that on my scalp. It's really weird if I let my hair grow as it gets worse, but I keep my hair short and it actually feels way better and seems to lessen. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, longer hair would be harder to manage, I would think. Yeah, honestly, too, like, I've wanted to shave my freaking head for the scalp eczema reason. One of the reasons, like, it was just like, I just wanted to fully get at it. I wanted to like descale my head because I get like buildup and I get massive flakes. But honestly, that's just probably the issue of the over conditioning and stuff, and it can be totally mitigated. And I wasn't taking care of it, but now I'm getting better. I'm like an overdoer. I am neurotic and I get anxiety about everything, and so then when my hair's a little bit dry, I overdo it. I overpitch, correct? Like, I just put copious amounts of oil and conditioner and everything. Like, I just couldn't help myself before. Like, I thought, oh, that's, my hair needs that. But I think my hair had so much shit on it that like it couldn't actually get to it. Like the moisturizers probably couldn't even get to it because it had like a buildup. Like it was just heavy and sucky. I used to wash mine so much, my hair was so dry, I'll almost like yeah. The straw hair, dude. Like I've had dead hair from trying to go blonde, and I had to cut it. It's really scary, honestly. It's gross. Like it felt like something on my head that shouldn't be there. And I actually watched a YouTube video the other day of this hairdresser, and she posted this video. This chick's like hair melted. I think it was titled like hair melting incident of some sort. Like it was and she was dyeing her hair, but she posted it for transparency and stuff like that. But at the same time, like it wasn't even her fault. The girl didn't know. Hey Nathan, what's up? We're talking about hair. The girl didn't know the hairdresser that was like dyeing this person's hair, whose hair freaking melted. She had gotten like her hair chemically softened. Like she thought she got some just keratin treatment, but there's 2 different kinds, and one of them, or it's a relaxant, and it's really, I think it's like the opposite of getting a perm or something like that. And so she didn't know that. She thought she just got this like basic keratin treatment, so she wanted to go blonde from like, I think, dark brown. And so they bleached it. They were bleaching her hair, and her hair was starting to heat up. It was heating up. 3:30 Alberta, Canada. Yeah, it's 2:24 in British Columbia, Canada. Hello, fellow Canadian. That's rough. Yeah, her hair was like heating up. She filmed this whole thing too. This hairdresser YouTuber. Her hair was getting really hot, so she like opened the foils because they had foiled it to bleach. She opened it to like release the heat, and at that point she was like, "There's 2 options." Like there was 2 people bleaching her hair. It was a lot of hair, thick, dark. She's like, we could just rip out the rest of the foil. Like we could stop now, but then her hair's half bleached, or we could just keep going and see what happens. So they chose to keep going. And she showed like the gross, it was mushy. She called it spaghetti squash hair, and she said it's a chemical reaction. It's actually a chemical reaction happening to the hair. Show speed live in here. I don't know what that means with show speed. This is bugging me, this oil stain. I tried to get it out right before the live. Speaking of oils and using too much oil in my hair, it's probably from that. I don't remember how this one happened, but it's probably like oil that I put in my freaking hair. Hello, Arnold, who's from the Philippines. Greetings from British Columbia, Canada. Eddie, geez, I just shaved it off, LOL. Yeah, they cut, like, it seemed like they could actually salvage. She had really, really long hair. So they cut it. It was still long, I think, even with the cut. Like, they did cut a lot off to save it, and that was her choice of like, oh, I want to save as much as I can and this and that. And then they managed to make it look decent. She was like happy with it apparently. So it wasn't her whole head that was like spaghetti squash damage, but it was definitely like probably halfway down. But yeah, I thought it was pickle juice, LOL. Oh, the pickles. Fun fact about pickle juice that I found out, you remind me of the old school rock look. Yeah, I'm going for like retro vintage, dude. Like I just have nostalgia about the 70s that I never lived in. I'm a 90s kid, and I don't know. I didn't think I would look, I didn't fully intend to like have this haircut initially, but it's been missing my whole life. Like I don't want to be pumping myself up too much, but like I feel like it suits me. It goes with my bone structure and stuff, and it's like a new vibe. Thank you, Kagelethu. I'm sorry, I'm probably saying your name really wrong. Arnold is from the Philippines. You rock it, looks great. 90s kid as well. LOL. Yes, fellow 90s kid. You need shrooms and electric guitar. I need to like complete the look. I want to get retro clothes now. Actually, I want to get like retro looking clothes, like the 70s vintage clothes. The thing I was gonna say about pickle juice though, as a female, this is not gonna relate to the males in the chat, but I just found out. Actually, it will relate to you guys in a different way. I just found out pickle juice is good for cramps, like all cramps, I guess, but period cramps it helps with. But people have been using it for like muscle cramps. Just fucking found this out at 30 years old. No one told us. They marketed us like, I think it's called Midol or something. And it's basically, I think, just like Advil, but it's specifically marketed for period cramps or whatever. Like, so I got these pickles in preparation of that time of the month. So I'm going to eat the pickles so I can have the juice, like when I'm getting my cramps. And hopefully it's supposed to help. And apparently, like a doctor said, if you have some mustard and then have the pickle juice, it like just completely obliterates the cramps, the cramping. You can call me Kaya or Kaya now. I'm being neurotic about how I'm saying the shortened version of your name. I'm probably still doing it wrong. Thank you, Desaria. Have you had dental work done? Yeah, I have had braces. And then, ew, guys, sorry. Freaking chunk of beef in my teeth. I have braces. And then I have like a little filling on the front of my tooth because like I had a really noticeable white spot that I didn't like, that I couldn't accept for myself. So they did like a filling, but I have to get it replaced. Can you see that like square of like gray? And I'm too just like, I can't organize my life enough to, I did want to do just a little bit of whitening before I get that thing replaced, because it has to match the color of my teeth, and my teeth aren't really that yellow. I don't know, but I just am perfectionist, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna whiten a bit, and I just can't organize it. It's been like a year at least, or 2 years, a year and a half that I've been like trying to just get that filling done, and I just like can't do the whole whitening of my teeth thing. I'm 30 years old. Kaya, okay, it's Kaya, I think. Okay. Get a gold tooth for the rock star look. Yeah, dude. I should just replace that one freaking tooth with one gold tooth that's just all one color, that doesn't have some like silly little filling on it that has to match the rest of my tooth, because the filling does not whiten. Like the filling just stays the same color. And so it's been probably 10 years since I got that thing, at least, maybe. And so it's discolored now a little bit, but I don't know. I don't care enough to fix it. But the other day, like I've been noticing, I'm kind of worried because like when I have tooth sensitivity, I feel it on that spot now. Like I feel like the filling's getting too weak and it's time to actually fix it for like functional reasons. No, get the bottom row gold teeth. That's cool. I didn't see the new Deadpool, Nathan. I didn't see the first Deadpool. I saw the second one though. I saw the second one because at the time I was working in a group home, and we would get to go to like movies with the kids. And so they had tickets for Deadpool 2, and I was on shift, and I got to go, and it was really, really good. And I've been meaning to watch the first one ever since. That was maybe like 3 years ago now. And I just still haven't. I watched like 2 minutes of the first one the other day, and then I just like couldn't sit still to watch it. Will you be voting for Trump? I'm in Canada, so I can't. I have my qualms with him, but I do think I would vote for him if I had to vote, and it was him and Kamala. But I like RFK, but he's obviously not going to be on the ballot. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's like I'm impartial to the whole thing. Like I will still vote in Canada, but I do not pick a team. Like I do not. I disagree with things on both sides. I disagree with things on the left, but also the right. Like so. But I guess like I know. I think I haven't been delved in lately as much, but Trump recently, like his vice president, what's his name? He seems pretty cool. I don't know much about him though. There's like a movie about him, and I wanted to sort of check that out. Um, uh, Down bad deal, nine. Shame for voting Trump. Pence wasn't Pence like Trump's former vice president? Was it Mike Pence? Hello. Yeah, I really like to delve into the politics, but I have quite like a nuanced take on the whole thing, although people would, call me controversial and label me things, but like I do have a nuanced take. Like I just cannot fit into either box. But the thing that does, like, I just don't like how divisive the politics have gotten. Obviously, like, I probably sound like a broken record. Do you think it's staged? Like the incident that happened with Trump? I don't think that was staged. I think there's like weird stuff going on with the Secret Service. But someone got unalived, and like I don't because people are saying that it was like Trump. Oh, okay, the more or less political parties in general. Yeah, I think it's like a lot of it is, yeah, it's just silly. It's just like entertainment. It's just like so silly. Like it's such it's like they're all bullshitting. They're all bullshitting. Like I don't know. It's like Trump. I just don't. It's like I have issues with him with certain things. Like I do think I don't know, I have a nuanced thing about everything I feel. Like the whole January 6th stuff, like I do think he could have conducted himself very differently, and that it was really instigating. Like he was vague with he shouldn't have gotten people to march and this and that, but then it's like the way that they were dramatizing it, like it could have gone really, really wrong. It could have gone really wrong, but the way that they were like, were people comparing January 6th to like 9/11? It's like that's not a comparison. Like it could, it could have gone really wrong. Like all those people in that building at one time, a big mob, if they had, firearms and had like gone off on people, like it could have gotten really bad. Like it was like really sketchy. But also, what was I gonna say? People are saying this will be the last election regardless of who wins. I've been hearing that, like, the only person that I've really recently heard that from, though, like, I like listening to this person. Her name's Jessa Reed, and she's in, like, the spiritual realm of things, but she's not really new agey. She's not into, like, and I'm not into, like, new age spiritualism, but, like, a lot of the things she talks about and says are, like, things that, like, new age spiritualism would say, like, some of them, but the way she used to be a meth addict and has quite a unique experience, and like the new age spiritualism stuff gets really culty and stuff like that, so she's like very careful of like not starting a freaking cult, and like she's all about use your own discernment, like don't listen to me if it's not vibing, and excuse me, like she's all about empowering yourself to like think for your own freaking self. So she recently, like, she's been saying it's just like I just feel, I don't know, I'm into the spiritual stuff, like it's kind of pretty woo for people, but I'm into, it's called human design. Regardless of that specific thing, like it talks about like there's these like oh, the gateway method. I did look into that. It creeps me out. It creeps me out. Didn't like the CIA use it. The music and the meditate, like certain meditation things actually creep me out. Like that's why the new age stuff creeps me out. I gotta catch up with the comments. You have Mad Max hair, so you will be fine if shit hit the fan. I'd be freaking out, like my little, or I would just be like, I've prepared for this my whole life, every day, all the anxiety, like something's gonna happen. Although my anxiety is not even about like catastrophes and stuff like that. It's just like all petty self-consciousness usually. Except I was deathly afraid of lightning as a kid. Spiritual realm of things is cool, especially when it's scientific and occulty. Yeah, I used to be really too into it where it was like I was just believing everything. Like I was really into the Long Island medium. I saw her in my city. She's performing again and it makes me really it's annoying to me. Like she's doing her little thing and like it's on people to like look into cold reading and figure that shit out. But now I'm more of a balance, I think, with scientific, spiritual, like, you know, shame. Guess what? Oh, we have someone from Quebec. Je suis de Quebec. La coupe longue est plus important que the political American. What does la coupe mean? Does that mean the community is, no, I don't know. The something is more important than the American politics. La coupe. Okay, I don't have another. Oh, okay, I guess I could Google it on here. Yeah, we don't need the podcast promo sign. Like, who cares? Oh yeah, MK Ultra. Oh, I delved into the MK Ultra. We've got the cool night crowd here going on. We got like the cool, like the insomniacs. Like we're the ones up at night researching MK Ultra and figuring out what is effed up in our society. Sorry, I'm looking up la coupe. I used to know some more French. Cutting. Okay, I don't know what it means. Someone translate that. I'm writing about that I slipped out of my stomach, got stuck to the ceiling, and seen her felt my roommate walk in and busted right back into my body. It was sick. Oh, whoa. Like an outer body experience? Holy, and you're writing stuff about it like a book or something? That's freaking awesome. Slipped out of your stomach. Stuck to the ceiling. Were you afraid? Like, were you, because I'm so afraid of the unknown. Like, don't worry, your Mel Gibson hair protect you. January 6th is the coup. Yes, I've had a few things like that. Oh, the coup, January 6th. Okay. Your Mel Gibson hair will protect you. Yeah, it just like Trump really strategically, like, as well, if he did believe, like, I think I'm open to all the things. It's like, yeah, well, every election I feel like is probably rigged in some way, like with the media and things like that. But like if Trump had this proof or he really believed that the election was rigged and stuff like that, like I just feel like you can't really even fix the system from the inside out. And like even if you know that to be true, or like how we know about like the MK Ultra stuff and all this stuff, obviously like he had to they will spin anything out of something, right? Like how he was so careless about the January 6th thing. It's like they're obviously like, it's, yeah, I think he did screw up like big time too by encouraging people to even go to the building. Like obviously they were going to use anything against him, and he kind of made it really easy for the other side or whatever to like smear him even more in ways. But like I don't know, it's all nuanced to me. Like he's obviously not a saint. by any means, and he's pretty egotistical, and like I'm sure has like a lot of narcissistic qualities and stuff like that, and like but it's kind of interesting like how, I don't know, I'm open to also like he's maybe playing for the same team as the other side, but like he seems like he could very well be not within the establishment, like that he was this like outsider that funded his own campaign and like won when he wasn't supposed to. Like it's like there's a rebellion about the whole thing, but he made himself look really bad, especially with January 6th, and then it's like he can't, I don't know, it's like hard to recover from that too. And it's like, so then the things they were saying about him, like some of them, I don't know, yeah, it's like unless the proof is actually acknowledged and solid, like you just can't win with the system that's like against you. And it does seem quite undemocratic to try to change like the election when it's like, well, they're not gonna entertain your proof if you have any of like, you know, voter fraud or whatever it was. Anyways, okay, we're on a ramble. You seem like you listen to Taylor Swift. I honestly don't really, like, a few of the songs kind of, but like I don't want to, I don't like, okay, Taylor's got enough fans, but okay, I know not to mess with the Swifties as well. Like this is just me. For some reason, it's just the genre, I think, of pop that she does. I can't really get into it. I'm really into ballads, and I guess probably a lot of her songs are kind of considered ballads, but a lot of them are just more kind of dance music, and there's not like a big maybe build up or ups and downs throughout the song, like dynamics wise, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't know. I'm not sure what it is about, I just don't know, I don't vibe with all the things. Like some of the songs, yes, they get like stuck in my head, but it's just not my genre as much, and the chords for the songs are sometimes a little bit generic or simple, and who am I to talk? But that's how I honestly feel. But I get that I look like someone that listens to Taylor Swift. The hairstyle is more important than American politics. Laughing my ass off. Yes, Nathan, I know about the Grove. I'm not an expert on the Grove, but sorry for talking with my mouth open, by the way. Like the Trump thing, like why it's like, oh, maybe he's not part of the kind of selected people, like the people in the inn that like are just buddies with everyone that like get elected. Like I don't know all the facts, and it's hard to find like the primary sources, and I don't have that much time to do that. But isn't there something about the Bohemian Grove of like the last however many presidents were present at the it's like before and after. During their presidency they don't attend, but before one and then the after, like apparently Trump hasn't, I don't think from my knowledge, has sort of attended. He was friends with Epstein though, and it seems, and it's sort of like, well, he was part of the Hollywood scene and this and that, like he was I don't know, he could very well be sketchy in certain ways, and it's just like all complex, you know. I don't know adrenochrome. Does that have to do with some sort of genetics thing? Is it like adrenal glands? Adrenochrome. I'm gonna have to research that one now. I'm gonna have to Google it. I'm gonna put the promo back up. I should, okay, maybe let me make a note of that. Maybe I can talk about it in the new podcast. Maybe I could talk about the adrenochrome in the new podcast. There's one episode of the new podcast, check it out or don't. It's pretty self-indulgent. A chemical compound produced by the oxidation of adrenaline. Subject of limited research. Is it like similar to MK Ultra in a way, or the studies that they were doing? Well, it doesn't sound like similar to the mind control thing at all, but is it something sketchy that they were like trying to test on people? Kids, right? Yeah, sketchy things. Hi, what up? What you drinking? What you drinking? Oh, iced tea. Oh, my iced tea. My ice. Literal iced tea. We're talking about like conspiracy stuff. So, I don't know. We were talking about Hollywood, so maybe that's what like Nathan's referring to. Is the dark, sketchy shit that goes on that we're finding about. That's like being revealed. Oh, okay, adrenochrome. It was the subject of limited research from the 1950s through the 1970s as a potential cause of schizophrenia. Interesting. What is it in? Is it in like all the things, the food? At least not that many people have schizophrenia, but like who would have been exposed to this? Goodness. Yeah, it's just like the sketchy things that have happened in the past that are, you know, probably still happening in ways today that it's just more secretive and hidden. And what are we talking about? Adrenochrome is something referenced nonchalantly in the movie Monsters, Inc. It makes sense that the power of fear could be harnessed. Is it like the fear chemical? Or the power of fear? Sorry, I'm probably like... It's like 3 a.m. The power of fear. Were they trying to like scare the kids with it being in the movie? Or is the thing like the fear chemical? I'm probably way off. It's in children's fear, I believe. They're making the frogs gay. Human chemical. I'm diagnosed to have schizophrenia, although I don't believe in the label. That's interesting. How do you manage, or like do you feel like they misdiagnosed you? Or do you have like the symptoms or some of the symptoms and you just don't align with the characterization of it being a disorder? I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. I agree, and at the same time in ways kind of disagree with the label, but sort of not. Like, I definitely had the symptoms. Like, I would say it's more in remission. But like when we call these things disorders, a lot of time, like I feel like I've said this other times, I tend to bring this concept up over and over again. It's like, are they really actual, like they are disorders, like you're having, I guess, like a dysfunction in life a certain way at that, but I feel like there's like a missing piece of it being potentially this like normal reaction to life experience or like really intense traumas and stuff that you like the body is trying to cope with that, and so it's doing these things and behaviors, and it's like that just helps with like the shame of it all. Like, you know, with me and the mental health stuff that I've been through, like I had a lot of shame, so that just really helped me to be like, oh, I'm not weird for freaking having this like anxiety all the time. I have schizophrenia, it's scary as fuck. Yeah. I could not deal, Malik. Like, I don't have that, and I'm anxious, like, by just my thoughts. Like, I've had, like, ghost phobias and I don't want to trigger anyone, but, my own, like, I never see shit. I never, like, in a knock on wood. Okay, I don't have wood, knock on head. I don't, I've never seen anything, but, like, hearing about other people's experience, stuff like that, like, it freaks me out so much, and I'll just be like, I've gotten better with this phobia, but, I'm, like, shaking with fear over just, like, thinking it, like, worried that I'm gonna see something, so I can't imagine, like, actually seeing things. It would be a lot. I gotta catch up with the chat. The mystery of life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. Yeah, that's a cool way to put it. You should trust the voice in your head. I have schizophrenia. Okay, we did that. I get paid for my diagnosis of schizophrenia monthly. Oh, like benefits? But yeah, I still openly disagree with the government about it. Yeah, I don't vibe, dude, with the government. But I still get paid since the label was forced upon me. Yeah. Yeah, they like, if, I don't know if where you are, if you said I'm in Canada, and they definitely, different disorders, stuff like that, like, they will treat you way different because they'll consider it like a lifelong permanent disability and stuff like that. So it's like tough though to have to like navigate through the system when it's not freaking resonating with you at all. And I didn't ever go on benefits, but I like recently sort of delved into that. But the time that I would have been actually more eligible, like I was in the psych ward and stuff like that, but then my psychiatrist like didn't want to help me with the paperwork because she's like, your dad already agreed to pay. And then, but like I was diagnosed with like borderline personality disorder, which is like a lot of people are on benefits for that. But then when I like sought out sort of recently, cause yeah, I just like have not worked like a normal job for so many years, stuff like that. And at the time I was needing a break from the household. I thought like I had a bit of a break, and then things were good with the partner again. Like I needed to sort myself out, but I was kind of like, I need to try to sort of be independent for once. So I was like trying to just like, I don't know, every other job that I would do, it seemed like there was a certain point in time where I just got like really, really depressed and would have just too intense feelings and start to cripple with the dysfunction, and then start to have some unaliving sort of ideation. It didn't get like past really the ideation stuff, but I started to get like really dysfunctional. Like, you know, I had like a meltdown in the middle of the restaurant during a shift one time, trying to keep it together, and then I would just like try to keep it together, and then like I would just get worse and worse, like, and I would just like could not contain the emotions. So I just thought for once, okay, I'll try to maybe apply for benefits, and they freaked me out. I don't like dealing with the medical people. They weren't really even doing anything wrong, kind of, but also, well, that's when I had the bad experience with my counselor, because she just didn't want to do like a letter for me. She was like worried about who was going to pay her because I have benefits. Because my grandma was Native, so I actually ended up getting a status card recently, and like my counseling when I was doing it was covered. And she was just like worried about who she was gonna pay, or who was gonna pay her to like write this like little letter. Like, it's not something you really get paid for. I don't know. It was just, she creeped me the fuck out about that, for one thing, because it's like, okay, bye. Like, this just feels way too transactional for me. Like, I get that it would take her some time, I guess, but at the same time, like, I don't know. It's just, I've heard stories too of like, sorry, I'm ignoring the chat again because I just gotta get this out. I have a friend with like really intense PTSD. She was like, I don't know all the details. She was like held hostage in a foreign country, something like that. And they were like harassing her about, I think every month she had to kind of prove that her symptoms were bad enough or something like that. And they were like on her case. And she ended up, where were they? I can't remember. She threatened, like, something to maybe unalive herself or something like that. Like, they would not leave her the frick alone, and she just lost it. And then they finally left her alone about that. But they were, like, harassing her. And these are people that are struggling. And, like, it's just, like, messed up how they are. Like, her situation specifically, like, maybe some people, are in a way taking advantage of the system, but her situation was not at all, especially, like, she had her symptoms at the time, especially, like, intense PTSD, so, I'm getting back into the chat. It's MK Ultra. What's MK Ultra? Freudian psychology is MK Ultra. Oh, like, that's, like, brainwashing of itself. MK Ultra never ended. Yeah, the way that they treat things, I don't vibe with. I just really, standard counseling, like, for so many years, the by the book counselors, that there was, like, certain counseling you did that they had to follow specific rules. It was just, like, this basic counseling, and it, like, standard cognitive behavioral therapy a lot of time is, like, really, really dealing just with your thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. I'm not an expert either. But cognitive behavioral therapy, like, it's just, for me, the stuff that worked the best was somatic therapy and, like, working with the body and stuff like that. The thought thing, like, it just kept me in, like, OCD behavior. Ghosts are real. Voices contacting you through your own focus are also real. If the government wants to pay me for that, fine. Yes, please. Haha. Yeah, I personally, I believe in this stuff, and then I don't for myself. Like, I'm like, okay, that's other people's experience. My issue was, sorry, the chat is hard for me to keep up with. I get so behind with it. I have, like, OCD stuff, and it's gotten a lot better, like, with my phobias, I guess, obsessions, and, one of them had to do with, like, the ghost phobia that I had. It freaked me out. Like, I would convince myself, or I would watch content and stuff, like, there's a lot of spiritual people. I don't vibe a lot with, like, the new age spiritualism as well, is it just starts to remind me of, like, Christianity and, like, the good and the evil, and it creeps me out because it's giving too much, like, power to these entities or something. Like, excuse me, some spiritual guy, like, I know my own OCD, and he was trying to, like, tell me, like, a friend of mine was trying to convince me, it seemed, or at least was just telling me that, yeah, there are, like, these negative energies trying to, like, possess me in a way. Like, I was so freaked out about, like, getting possessed. I don't believe in it. Like, if other people have the experience, that can still be it for them. My belief does not, like, discount their thing, but, like, for me, I just don't believe that anymore. And I started to realize what was just OCD. Like, I would start to actually feel like things were happening. Like, it would get so much worse when I believed in the spiritual stuff. And there was just people that didn't, like, because they were spiritual, they seemed to think, like, they did not entertain my OCD thing. Like, I know myself the best, and they are thinking it's, like, a real thing. And it's like, oh, weird how this gets so much better and is a non-existent issue for me when I don't give it any fucking attention. Like, I was told I need to, do this, like, this is, like, some intuitive or healer-ish person, or energy clearer person. She told me I need to do this, like, certain meditation thing, like a protection thing or whatever. And then I would just obsessively do that, became a compulsion. Like, I could never do it enough. And then I was like, oh, did I miss a spot of my aura to protect in this? And I was, like, obsessively doing it. And then I knew I was feeding into it. So last person that tried to, like, convince me that's what it was, I had a strong enough sense of self to be like, no, that's not, it's actually OCD for me. Like, that's not what's happening. I only heard the voice audibly in my head one time. In fact, they consider it lifelong, right? It's actually is great. Who's to say on benefits until I know it? Yeah. I do believe that people, honestly, I had like a theory. I don't have schizophrenia, so I feel uncomfortable. Like I'm still scared of like offending people and all that stuff too. But it's like I had a theory about like what it could be, schizophrenia. Like I do believe in like different dimensions and stuff like that and everything. So I just don't think that I don't want the capacity to experience that. Like it's like maybe people with schizophrenia are just sort of there's a bit of a veil that's like lifted, that they're having experiences of different realms at times, but then also I've heard something like it's got to be a way different experience than what I experienced, but it's maybe like it is your own thoughts sort of, but you're not knowing that it's your own thing, but it's obviously like so real too, like it's a total different experience. Like I don't know what's going on. I just don't want to offend Watchdog in the chat that actually freaking has it, like give it my 2 cents. Game between the government and I hope to be off the benefits and starting up my own vegan business as soon as possible. Awesome. Yeah, well, no shame being on the benefits, dude. Like I would friggin' be on them. I know someone that's been on them since she's like 18. I think she's like 36 now at least. Like there's no shame. I know multiple people on the mental health benefits. So I was forced into the psych ward by my mom. Oh geez. Otherwise I would be on a different path, but I feel you. Harris or Trump, we already went through that. But I would choose Trump over Harris if I had to vote. But I'm in Canada, so I can't even. You make a good actor. I tried. I like did acting school. I wanted to do that. But I'm not into. I don't want to be. I'm freaked out about Hollywood for one thing. But it's like, yeah, and then the thing with YouTube and like having full control over if I want to do sketches again or even just like make my own little silly movie and post it on here. Like I have full control, I have full creative control. I understand that my current path is challenging and that it supports stagnation. It's the game I'm in though, and I enjoy the break from the workplace for now. Oh, dude, like I don't have a job. I don't have a job right now. Like I've been stagnating for the past 3 years. Like my partner Sean financially supports me. Like I don't. Yeah, there is no judgment here from me, and I'm not saying you're saying that you think I'm judging you at all, but like I'm just giving you full validation that I'm with you, dude. I usually call these chats Neurotics Anonymous. Like I have a sign and stuff, and it's like Alcoholics Anonymous, but for people with like mental health stuff. And because I don't feel normal, I don't want to be normal anymore. But it's like, yeah, I am an outcast from society. Myself, I'm a recluse. I don't have kids. I'm 30. Freud was not a good dude. Yeah, he's creeps me out. If you like documentary, watch Century of the Self, Adam Curtis. Yeah, like what did Freud do that we are so... Did he develop cognitive behavioral therapy? Or that can't be as old as Freud, is it? Well, it's psychotherapy was Freud, right? Like talk therapy. Why are we so obsessed with Freud in school? Like why are we so... Why is it him that's like put on this pedestal? Like I guess he did some things. Okay. At the time, he maybe made a breakthrough in that time of history, but it's just like interesting. I don't know what it's like now. Like they're probably learning about new people, maybe not. I'm 30. It's been a while. But it's like, why are they pushing certain things? Like I just don't trust the school system at all anymore. Thanks guys for the nice comments. And you guys are vibing with the hair. It's your brain using characters to work out trauma or something. Okay, I think that's a reference to like schizophrenia symptoms. Also choose not to do the whole ghost thing, and possession too. It is actually something you can opt in and out of, depending on your own understanding and also choice. Yeah, I opt out. Like, I think, because I always just like couldn't understand. I did get really interested by paranormal stuff. Like I was really interested in it, but I was always kind of like scared, but I would be not scared enough to like watch the show Paranormal State. It's this like reality show about them, I don't know, like getting ghosts out of houses. Um and but I would never have my own experiences. I would just like watch other things, and then I got way too just freaked out just by watching that stuff. Like nothing ever happened to me. Thank God it's not going to. I opt out. I'm opting out. Sorry, ghosts, but bye. Um it didn't happen to me, but I was always just like, how do people deal with this stuff happening to them? Like these stories that I would hear, these people like having these sort of experiences, like they don't seem freaked out by it. And so I'm like, maybe they just, it's something they've opted in, like they're interested in it. It's not the same experience for me. Like I just can't, I can't with it. But now I can finally like let others have their experience. Like I can sort of hear about the things and not get all triggered again. But me talking about it now, I'm getting a little bit triggered. But it's okay. Sorry, I am stressed about not keeping up with the chat, so I'm trying to get to the latest of the chat. Watchdog, that is intense. I would be freaked out. Talking about the vibrating on the energy of pure evil. Never responded, got what I needed, and was done with that. Yeah, it's just like, hey, we're out of there. We're done. Like, we saw it. We conquered. We whatever. How's the saying go? To center itself, we're all in division. You 100% native. Or oh, you 1%. Yeah, I'm really really white. I'm technically like 10% on 23andMe. It's like 8.5% Native American or something, and then it's like 1.5%. It like adds up to 10% or so, or a little over 10%. It's like 1 point something or 2 something of like East Asian, whatever, which is like Native. But technically, yeah, my DNA, yeah, it's so I'm like really white, but that's how it works in Canada. I'm the cutoff. Like I felt sheepish about having those benefits. The only time I use them, I get like tax-free gas. I was trying to pay for therapy. There was a time when I was working, and I was working at the group home with like youth at risk, and I was like, because the conventional therapy just was not helping, like so many therapists I would try to go to. So I was doing this like somatic therapy. I think it was like EFT, emotional freedom technique, like the tapping therapy. That's before I sort of found out about like straight up somatic therapy, whatever. And this lady was in Florida that I was seeing. It was like $300 Canadian per session. Insane amount of money. So I just worked these overtime shifts to like afford to pay for that. Like I was dumb too. Didn't realize like I had a Métis card before the full status card, and I could have gotten actual counseling from that. I didn't know the benefits with that really, but it's like very specific counselors. But my friend only has Métis, and her counseling's like all covered. You get a certain amount of sessions, but mine I get a certain amount of sessions, but I can reapply, and they did get my last counselor like reapplied for me, and I had some more sessions, but then I ended up things didn't go so well, so I just stopped, and then I considered getting another counselor, and then I just like didn't, because this therapy was like so much better. Just like doing the live chats, just like talking about the stuff, being myself on the internet has been the best therapy. Yeah, I want to do a video of like my new therapy, because there's a few different things I've been doing, and it's helped so much more than the other stuff. Like the talking was probably just keeping me ruminating anyways, like the talk therapy. But my last counselor was like, I went to her for somatic therapy, and she was doing it in the beginning, and then she just stopped doing it and turned like full psychotherapist, like went full Freud on me, but didn't even really say anything, like wasn't saying anything. Like I felt like a specimen, and it was so ick, and I was like, why isn't she doing the somatic stuff? Like that was clearly talking about things that were kind of like, I had stuff to say obviously, and it was like stressful. Like she used to then take me through like a somatic session, which it's like you just get in tune with your body, and that you kind of like talk about the trigger, or it comes up, or you like get to the root of the issues. But she was just being really weird. She was being weird. So, yeah. I listen to Pink Floyd, such an individual. I really only know like one Pink Floyd song. I didn't manage to fully get into the Pink Floyd of it all. Is Pink Floyd 70s? I feel like it would go with my hairstyle to just chill and listen to it. It's just the 70s though were really, that was like, or was 60s more hippie? Like I would not fit in. Like I cannot with the marijuana of it all. Like the last time I tried that, it was years ago now. I was like never again. I get so paranoid. But back in the day, people thought I was such a stoner. I don't know, because I was like hippie looking and I was doing the whole hippie vibe because that style came back when I was like in my early 20s. And I also went tree planting. I was just like a tomboy and tree planter, and I like melded with the hippies at the time in the style, but I was just sort of being my regular self. And then multiple people were like convinced that they just thought I was like such a stoner. It's like, no, you don't even know. Like I like just like rolling panic attacks with that stuff, rolling panic attacks. Oh, Dark Side of the Moon. See, I didn't know that was an album. Is that an album? Because you say underneath and that album, that's how bad I am. That I was like, oh, what's Nathan talking about? Dark Side of the Moon. I thought I thought you were like referring to, maybe Watch Dogs experiences, with the dark side. Is he referring to someone else in the chat? The entire thing sings together. Wish You Were Here is Pink Floyd, right? That's like one of the really popular songs. Like I know that much, but maybe it's just a little bit too trippy for me. Honestly, things that disorient me a little bit, like my sense of self, why I don't do well with the like hallucinogens and stuff, and like I'm really sensitive, I feel, to like all substances, even just caffeine. I think why that is, like I don't seem to have good experiences over those things, is because of my lack of sense of self. And then there was like the fear of the unknown, the fear of getting possessed, or like because I didn't have this like solid self to stand on. And that's where a lot of the new age stuff, like I mentioned before, it really creeps me out, because it seems the majority of it these days, especially, like it's all about, they're really into like astral traveling and like channeling and doing all this stuff that's like really ungrounding and freaky. And some of these characters, or a lot of them it seems, don't have their shadow sides in check, and they have big egos. And like a lot of people who are narcissistic seem to gravitate towards the spiritual community especially, and there's people that maybe aren't aware of their shadow side not being in check. Like they genuinely are on like a mission of like self discovery and stuff like that. Like they're not like, oh, I'm gonna fake the spiritual thing to become a guru and make all this money, but actually take advantage of people, whatever. Like there's genuine people that like are maybe on this self-awakening thing, but they just still, like, the ego gets too into it. It's like not healed. And then also I find a lot of this stuff is like pretty hierarchical, and it just seems to like reflect like organized religion, and I don't vibe with the organized religion stuff. Like I take what resonates from each religion. Trying to keep my phone on so I can comment. Oh, does your phone need to be charged? Phone keeps dying, but the stream stays on my TV. LOL. Fun thing with like technology that just reminds me of like the stream staying on the TV. Yeah, like did you sync it to the TV? Because I had synced Hannah Montana. This was when Sean and this is like when I had my little stint of like living elsewhere. So I was like staying somewhere else because I need a break from the household, and yeah, I need to work on myself. So anyways, but Sean and I were still together, and so I was like visiting here in the evening, and then I synced up Hannah Montana from the Disney Plus, I think from my phone to the TV. And then I left and like went where I was staying, like to my place that I was staying. And it all these episodes synced that like it just kept playing for hours and hours, Sean said. And my phone was nowhere near the house, like it was completely gone, but it had like synced that much, like it played all night or something like that, or for like 3 hours at least, he said. So it's just kind of interesting how that can happen. I guess it has to download so much to the unit in a way. How does it happen? I don't know. It's kind of trippy. Lucas, I would have to translate that. I think it's Spanish. Coraline. Is that another song off the Dark Side of the Moon album of Pink Floyd? Is that... I don't know what that means. I'm gonna have to Google that. I don't know what that means. Are we quoting songs? Anyways, okay, wait. A branching reddish seaweed with a calcareous jointed stem. I don't know. Coral. Is it a song? Make this make sense. Make it make sense. Watchdog's hilarious. As Lucifer, I am the devil, and this is my planet. I was also Jesus long ago, as I understand. But yeah, veganism is the answer we must spread. Sorry for me, like, eating meat in front of you. That was not nice of me. That was rude of me to do to the vegan. I tried sort of briefly to be vegan. Like, I tried to do more so vegetarianism, kind of, but like the Greek in me and like my genetics, I feel like I really just feel not great when I'm not eating meat. And then I feel like I benefit the most from low carb, like my neuroticism and stuff really benefits from low carb. But I respect you and your choices. But your comment about the being the Lucifer, but also the Jesus of it all, I like how I resonate with that is that like I do have a belief that we're all one energy thing. Like there's like unconscious parts though. Like I feel like the whole Lucifer darkness devil stuff would be like unconsciousness, that's like separation consciousness, that's like separate from the... I don't know, it's like separated itself and it's not integrated, not nice. But then again, wasn't like Lucifer the light bearer or something? Don't people say that like there's like a misconception of, was Lucifer like actually an angel? He's like a fallen angel or something like that. Yeah, I feel like a lot of it is energy. Like I feel like also to really, I feel like to integrate, like to actually like have a solid sense of self too, and you have to accept like being capable of like being human, like being capable of bad things. Like I think we all are capable of certain things, like, you know, being pushed to a point. Like when you fully reject that part of yourself, it's like when it does get sketch, because it's like you don't maybe know how to handle it, or like you're rejecting... Yeah, it's like a more milder version is like, for me, I would get really defensive and toxic over rejecting like milder certain aspects of myself, like not like super dark, horrific things, but like just certain parts of my identity. Like, I don't know, I would get all triggered about, I don't know, if I had feedback or criticism, like get all defensive about certain things. Like say, not letting other people talk is like one of them, like talking too much. And I tried to like defend that I wasn't doing like, but because I would do that because it's like I couldn't handle annoying people and talking a little bit much. Like it was the end of the world to me. It was like a full rejection of self. It was really an intense reaction to myself. I had a lot of black and white thinking, and but especially recently I've been able to like really accept those parts more and like not be so ick about them. Well, I still get the ick about myself and stuff, but it's sort of like I'm allowed to like annoy people at times. It doesn't mean I'm like the most horrible person. But like when I was fighting against like, oh no, I can't be that because it means like it's just the worst thing ever. But when I kind of integrated that, it was like, oh, no big deal. Yeah, I messed up. Like I was like being just toxic, not accepting like the negative parts of myself, ironically or whatever. So I think it's like, yeah, we're all, I believe, like we're all capable of certain things, being human. Sorry. I don't know where I'm going with this. I think I'm I don't know. Animal fat's essential for cognitive function. Yeah. I vibe with that personally, but I have a friend that's been vegan for like maybe 10 years or more, honestly, at this point. And that's just what works for her, and she seems to be doing fine. I could not, but fat turns sugar to insulin or something like that. Okay, interesting. Which prevents diabetes. Butter is life. Ice cream is life. Gnosticism is a dark path. What is that again? The philosophical conclusions are not good. I need to relook what that means again. Movement of the Christian Church, pre-Christian origin, doctrine taught that the world was created and ruled by a lesser divinity, the demiurge, and that Christ was in it a mystery of the remote supreme divine being. I need this in layman's terms. I don't know what it's saying. I need this in layman's terms. I'm falling into the couch. Like, I need to readjust. What does it mean? It's just saying kind of where it originated. The way to release a person's spiritual element considered hearsay by Christian churches. What does it mean? Put in special knowledge. I was trying to figure it out and I couldn't. Oh, Stuart! Oh my God, Stuart, you're still here? All the way back from His and Her Habits, right? I was tricked into having some vegan meat sub the other week. It was possibly the worst thing I've ever eaten. Stuart, you're vegan? Oh, sorry. No, you were having a vegan meat sub. I switched that in my head. I thought it was like a regular and that you're vegan. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the vegan stuff like has a lot of chemicals, especially the stuff that's like trying to be meat. It's obviously not whole foods and stuff like that. Not studying philosophy before you go down these paths is very dangerous. Yeah, I would agree. You're low-key like Billie Eilish. I feel I don't go a live stream without getting the Billie Eilish things. Like, do I really look that much like her? I'm trying to catch up with the chat, guys. Sorry, it's a lot of reading for me tonight. What? Double-decker bacon sausage. Oh no, are people trolling the vegan in the chat? It's a broad category. Basically, we're all God. We possess the divine spark. We need to resolve good and evil, etc. So that's the Gnosticism. Yeah, it's like I do kind of, I know there's like a creepiness and a sketchiness into like we're all God kind of thing. Like I do feel like there's like we are and we aren't. I don't know. I feel like if the ego thinks it's God, it's a nightmare. That's not gonna go over well at all. I feel like there's a divineness to the consciousness energy, like just the pure kind of non sort of ego self of experience of just like awareness. Me without any of my personality and my actual self, like when the ego thinks like the personality is the God or something like that, that's I think just really sketchy and untrue and everything. It's sort of like, oh, for me it's like, what am I, like I'm not actually, I don't know, this Alyssa person. Like it's sort of, I just believe in this like collective energy that runs through sort of all living things and everything like that. But our brain is not at all that, in my opinion. Like, so us even, I guess you can tap into meditation and stuff and you can be experiencing the energy, but it's not ever you in a way, because it's like never your personality or what you think is you. Like for me, it's like the Alyssa of it all is like not the freaking divine consciousness. If that makes sense, we need to resolve good and evil, etc. Yeah. I guess I don't like the words good and evil. Any, you know, it's maybe the being raised Christian and then not resonating with it. I feel like there's conscious and unconscious now. So like the evil, I would say, is like unconscious aspects that have been it's like things that have been cast away and rejected from like the things that are not healthily sort of integrated. Like I don't know, I just feel like I don't know, I've just been so interested also in this stuff. Like I was someone that would watch like shows about serial unalivers, just like trying to understand like why is anyone doing this stuff. Like, but I feel like it's a combination of like having something miswired in your brain, and then also like it's like nature nurture. Like I was like, if everyone's inherently good, like everyone's inherently good, like why do people do just horrific things, like what we would characterize as just like total evil things that are just like horrible evil. Like I guess I have an understanding of like, oh wow, like they are separate from themselves, like they are acting out of this like unconscious energy. Like I now can like sort of separate the darkness from the person as a whole. It's like, well, it's like maybe they are possessed, I don't know, it's like they're getting taken over by the unconsciousness. But it just freaks me out, like the evil thing, because then it freaks me out about the possession, demon-y, whatever. Like, I don't know. I feel like the demon stuff too, though, is just like our manifestations of our own shit. Like, I don't know if there's like separate entities or energies. But then again, it's kind of weird how our bodies are made up of all these other organisms that seem to have their own consciousness. Like, I don't know. If I eat certain foods, does it make me more anxious or crave more and more sugar? Because, like, is it freaking possessing my brain? Like maybe we are just like possessed already, so there's nothing to be freaking scared of already, because it's just like, oh well, we're possessed by the addictions and stuff. Like something is like driving us, or a little human brain, to keep eating the sugar, like myself. So still here. Yes, Stu's a longtime fan from like 2 channels ago. We go way back. I literally have schizophrenia. This chat's literally helping me so fucking much. Sweet. Yeah, we're here. I don't have it, but this is, yeah, I'm facilitating a general Neurotics Anonymous session, which is like a play on Alcoholics Anonymous. And also shamefully promoting my new podcast, Earth Drama, the podcast. Don't listen to it if you don't like someone burping into the mic, especially, because that happened a couple times. So, yeah. It's the whole good and evil are two sides of the same coin argument. That's the Gnosticism, or the, yeah, you can get like way too broad about these ideas to where you're not even maybe considering the bad things, like unconscious, like not healthy things. Like it gets too far the other way to where you're not discerning. I'm trying to not type so bad, Elmo. Okay, this is better. I can't have light without dark, etc. It's cope for people who want to be unaccountable. Yeah. Good and evil is very subjective. Yeah, it is. That's the whole thing of like, yeah, I don't know. It just like, I don't know. I do kind of believe in the like, I believe that we are here for this experience of like the good and the bad, like as messed up as that sounds, is like, who am I to freaking speak when I have such a cushy, privileged life, like such a privileged freaking life? It's like, oh, we're like wanting to experience the stuff. Like, I don't know. It's like so crazy to even fathom, but I kind of feel like Earth is like a really, really intense version of what a video game is to us on Earth. Like, I feel like us as maybe like eternal consciousness energy that's like just always just never ending energy. Like, I feel like we maybe jump into this like realistic video game thing, but like we don't actually die. Like, our avatar, I guess, dies, like the physical self dies. Like, I know I'm getting real woo. This is just what I sort of believe or resonate with now, because like, I don't know, it's my only way to make sense of like why we're here and not to get too much existential depression of it all. I don't know, these ideas kind of help me reconcile things, but I don't know, I have no idea why we're actually here. So veganism is what I always go back to. It's scary, but evil exists. Truth is objective, hence morality is objective. Truth is objective. Yeah. Morality is objective. Yeah. Like, for me, the evil is like, you don't get to freaking overstep someone else's autonomy. Like, you don't get to like take advantage of another consciousness. I do believe in a maybe like not following the rules of the video game manifestation on Earth. The like, you know, you're overstepping your experience by taking advantage of another person. Like, people just be unhinged, right? People be unhinged, but it's like, it's hard for me to believe that's like the person just like wants to be that way. Like, there's evil, horrendous things, but it's just sort of like the person, it's just weird how like the shows that I would watch, like the serial unaliver shows and this and that, like it just seems like there's legitimately something wrong with their brain. Like, they were just born that way, that they can't, some of them have control over it, I think, or maybe there's like psychopath versus sociopath, but some of them, it's like I don't know, there's no excuse, but at the same time, I don't know, with me and my little mild experience that I've experienced, like what gave me peace was being like, oh, these people weren't capable of any other behavior. Like they couldn't help themselves at the time, I guess. But it doesn't take away the freaking injustice of it all with things like ABUSE and horrible, like just taking advantage of someone else's energy or being toxic or whatever. And yeah, and I've been freaking overbearing and toxic myself, and I've had to like take responsibility for my little petty drama and stuff that I did to Sean. So yeah, I don't know, but I just get confused all the time too. I get confused. The mother god YouTube, her name's Teal Swan. I've delved into some Teal Swan. And then I don't know, I didn't see her stuff for a while. Everyone was like calling her, or people saying she was a cult leader or something like that. Like she did this workshops and this and that. Like I don't know. There's some recent videos that I delved in that she was talking about men and women and stuff like that. And I like how she doesn't seem all love and light. Like the love and light crowd is just like, okay, like let's all, like she seems more realist with things, or like she was talking about like things like what, you know, maybe men don't understand about women, or it was more practical actual stuff and not just like creepy, just like everything's kumbaya love and light stuff. Like those people freak me out because it's just, they just don't seem like they just seem like there's sketchiness going on that they're hiding. Like it seems like a mask and stuff. So I did resonate with her energy. But yeah, I don't think anyone's above anyone else though. Like I don't know exactly what you mean by mother god or whatever. Like I cannot with, like, I don't resonate at all with like a hierarchy of things in a way. Like I think we're all on the same level, at least us like humans. Earthing, maybe there's like a ultimate divine creator of some sort. Like I don't know, I think we are, I guess I would say my beliefs, it's like again going back to like the collective consciousness-y thing, like we're like children of that like divine all-knowing pure consciousness, something like that. I don't know. And then people would say that's God, but I don't think God is old guy with a beard. I don't think that's what he looks like. I don't think we can like conceptualize what God actually is, like, because we're humaning. I don't think it like makes sense to us at all. It just never would. If you like a more scientific explanation, look into Prof. Lane M. Gilchrist. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. More scientific explanation of which, like the spiritual stuff in general or the Gnosticism. British psychiatrist philosopher neuroscience. Okay, this seems very interesting. I was just gonna look up one more thing. Prof. I was gonna see if there's any talks on YouTube with him. Metaphysics and the Matter with Things, an evening with, is it Ian McGill Christ. It's interesting the last characters of his name are Christ. Is that like a stage name? That's probably actually his name, McGill Christ. A divided brain and an addicted world, the missing link. Okay, I'm saving that to my watch later. Thank you, Caravaggio, for the awesome suggestion. I am intrigued. You know Wim Hof. Yeah, I have delved into the Wim Hof. Sorry, I skipped the cold shower today. I'm sorry, Wim. I'm a baby. But there's no excuse, and I haven't been doing the Wim breathing. I did some other breathing the other day that I remembered that I hadn't been doing. Where can we find your podcast? I uploaded it to YouTube, and then I found a way to upload to Spotify for free. So this is what the cover looks like of the podcast of the YouTube. It'll be like my latest uploaded video, I believe. It would show up in there. But it's also under the podcast tab. I I wanted to actually, maybe I should like show the actual page of it. Sec. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I just like can't really zoom in to it. That's what it looks like on the YouTube. That thing. But yeah, it's like no pressure. No pressure. If you want to click off after 1 second, I totally get it and I totally respect it. I don't know. I was just excited that I started a podcast. That I couldn't sleep because I posted it like midnight. And so then I thought, why don't I just do a live stream as promo, but also talking about the universe. I'm wanting to make my YouTube gain notoriety so I can help with us through Lucifer's, my experiment. I'm good. I just don't think I'm going to jive with good old Lucy. I think I'm in a different realm right now, but you do you. You do you. Mostly I like making music. My latest song is called Infinite Love. Ooh, that sounds fun. That sounds nice. Hierarchy is everywhere in nature. We all submit to something. The only true autonomy we have is in choosing what we submit to. Gnostics believe they can achieve gnosis, i.e. perfect knowledge. Like, do they think they're above everyone because they're... Yeah, that's where I feel like it gets out of check with the ego. Like, to me, it has to be this, like, yeah, to me, it's like I feel like we're all equal and everything, but we also aren't all experts, or like there's not stuff to learn from other people, and that to be humbled and stuff like that, and not to, like, yeah, it's just the Gnostic stuff is giving me the ick vibe of these people maybe getting out of hand with their whole, like, ooh, we're perfect. With our perfect knowledge. And yeah, evil truly is the absence of love. Yeah. Then achieving gnosis, which is pure hubris, will allow them to transcend reality, which is termed apotheosis, basically become gods. Like, actually become gods. Like, with me and the believing... Yeah, I just don't think, like, when I believe kind of in, like, oh, we're all God or something, like, we're not all gods. Like, we're not all these, like, special God things, in my opinion, at all. It's sort of like we all come from this one source thing that kind of rules us all in a way, or it's like the awareness. But again, like, my personality self can never be, like, as soon as I'm thinking that I'm a god or something like that, or I'm God, like, I'm not, I'm out of it. I'm completely out of it. It's just sort of like, because if you actually tap into it, I feel like if you meditate and you tap into the love energy of the oneness and the consciousness and not the unconscious aspects that are horrific that we experience on earth, like if you tap into the just like all loving thing or whatever it is, I don't know, you would not want to be a powerful god or whatever it is. I don't know. Become gods? Like, ew. Like, what do they think they're gonna freaking do? Rule the world? Like, Beyonce? Like, what are they thinking? Miguel Christ is a neuroscience expert. He's a Cambridge Rhodes Scholar of Teal Swan. He just does. Okay. It's a really good name because you can talk about anything. Oh, are you talking about the podcast name? Yeah, it's like all things Earth drama. I wanted to talk about my own drama, like my neuroticism stuff, or just like petty shit going on in my life. And then I wanted to probably talk about like maybe different things having to do with politics, also celebrities, and it was just like my little take on all these different things on Earth drama. Yes, we only little humans. We need to stay humble. Yes, yes, we do. So like like some of the concepts I feel like it's like it's like what a little human brain would think of, like a god. Oh, I'm God or something like that. Like I feel like it's like there's some truth, but then not in the way we're interpreting it. Like similar to how I vibe with like Jesus in a way that I think he was like more he was like an Eckhart Tolle of today, I feel, at the time. Like he was not enlightened. Like I don't know if anyone's ever truly enlightened on earth as a human. Like you're more awake or conscious or becoming, like, you know, you're in the act of awakening. I don't think it's ever like a finished thing and you're just like a god or on earth. Like, but yeah, like I feel like I don't know, the organized religion aspect of it all, like, just totally dramatized everything and made it something it wasn't. Like, put Jesus on this, like, massive pedestal. I think he was a humaning. I don't believe in him being, like, the son of God thing, but I believe that there was, like, he had a connection to, like, the God consciousness and respected it and was trying to do no harm, like, to the humans and not, like, overstep the autonomy of others. So he understood that. But then people started to treat him like, oh, he's this god, like he's special, he's a god. And I feel like that's what these like out of check Gnostics people, whatever it was, Caravaggio, are doing. It's like they're treating themselves the way that Jesus was being treated, as this, like, I just don't think Jesus would be wanting people like really, really overly idolizing him, like at the expense of their own selves. Like, God, isn't there just like crazy forms of Christianity that they have like shackles or something? They have like something shackled to their leg. It's like a pain thing. It's like, oh my God. I think it was in the book and the show Angels and Demons or something, or that's like a Catholic thing, I guess, but I don't know. Ego is just one individual, the larger one, whom we all also are little humies. We need to be humble, kind, and care for each other. It is the human way. It is. We need to check ourselves. Looking forward to the new podcast. Oh man, the pressure's on. The pressure's on. Ego, therefore, has a purposely bad connotation, courtesy of evil. Yeah, I've heard stuff about like it's not, the goal is not to completely abandon your ego. Like it's a self-preservation thing, the ego. Like I think if we had absolutely no ego, would we have enough of a will to live at times? Or like it helps protect yourself in ways. It's just when it's like out of check and unhinged, I think, is when it really gets into a bit of trouble. But like I think it's healthy to have a certain amount of ego for sure. So I believe JC was just a brilliant man. Oh, Jesus. And a great teacher, not a super being. Yeah, I totally vibe with yes. And then it's like, people are really intense about, I grew up like Christian, but then it wasn't like heavily pushed on me, really. Like, I don't know, I had to go to church to a certain extent, but then my parents stopped going to church themselves at a certain point, kind of, and just like it was not this intense religious thing. But earlier on, I went to like a Baptist church and then sometimes the Greek Orthodox church, and just the whole like Jesus died for our sins. It's just like the constant shame of it all, of like he died for your sins and you already came into this world like sinning, I get, like, or I guess they just say like he had to die at the time. They make it seem like it's actively happening, like he's always dying for your constant sins of every freaking moment. Like they just make it seem so intense. They just never let you forget. They never let you forget that thousands of years ago, however freaking long it, like, I don't know, 3,000, 2,000 years ago, like, and why isn't, like, when did Jesus pass? Like, was it actually, it wasn't, I heard it's not even, like, zero, like, year zero. Like, there's, like, the BC, before Christ, after death, AD. Like, I heard it's just not even, like, why can't people count right? Like, it doesn't even align with his death, actually, in a way. It's interesting. But, yeah, the whole, he was ultra perfection. Like, he was literally God on earth. It's like, don't think so. I think it was a human who existed, and then 100 years after he passed, 100 years after, apparently, what I learned is when the Bible actually got written. It was like 100 years, an entire century. Nothing of that was embellished. Like, that's all true. That's like, no one was anyone, no one who was still alive 100 years after. Like, they maybe had these legends passed down. The people that had to do with the writing of the Bible never freaking met Jesus themselves. Like, come on, guys. Come on. But each to their own, like, everyone believe what you want. Believe what you want. Smarter people than us have been studying these matters for thousands of years. Philosophy, theology. Yes. Looking at the actual definition, you will find that truly your ego is your soul. True actual synonyms. Yeah, to me, they're like different things, I guess. If my soul is just the consciousness observing, then I think they're different things. But if the soul's like my personality, like I got soul, my haircut is giving 70s soul vibes. Then yeah, I would say that's part of my ego, like my personality. Orthodox don't teach original sin. That is RC doctrine. What's RC mean? Again, what's RC? Roman Catholic doctrine. Original sin. Orthodox. Is the original sin like the Jesus died for our sin stuff that I was ranting about? That was all from the Baptist church that I went to. But the fun fact, actually wasn't even a Greek Orthodox church. It was a Ukrainian Orthodox church, because where I grew up, they didn't have a Greek one. So, it was so many years that I realized, I didn't even realize the whole time. I guess I was too young and not smart enough to distinguish the difference in the languages. At certain special occasions, they would get a Greek priest in, I think, but the regular services was actually run by a Ukrainian guy, priest, and so he was speaking Ukrainian the whole time. So I had no freaking idea for for those years that my Greek grandparents actually didn't know what he was talking about. They were just as bored as me. They didn't have a clue what he, like, they probably had a clue, the chants are the same thing. Oh, it's just like, what is it? Is it like, we are not worthy, it's not that, but they knew the Greek version of the chants, and they already probably thought, oh, he's saying this thing, and I don't know, but it was just funny to learn that they were going to a church that they also didn't even know the language that they were talking. Because I was just thinking the whole time, oh, this would be at least a little bit, like a tad bit more interesting if I understood the Greek that he was saying, but he was not even speaking Greek. The vast majority of history was written long after the fact. Yeah. It's propaganda. Just how history works. Roman Catholic, original sin is everyone is born bad. Yeah, the born bad thing, just like, doesn't that just make people reject themselves, and then it causes more harm because hurt people hurt people? I feel like I do believe in the whole, well, it's isn't it known to be fact at this point that, like, the churches were just used to govern and control people, like keep people maybe more submissive and shameful to power trip, and then it's just like, obviously these people are not above it, like the hierarchy of it all. I feel like there's like logistical hierarchies that happen where, okay, if we're all stranded on a freaking island, I'm gonna let someone be the leader. I'm gonna let someone lead, and it's not gonna be fucking me, that's for sure. I'll be like curled up on the sand, having a fucking panic attack. But the creepy hierarchy of the Catholic Church and stuff, specifically, like, the sketchiest people are priests. Some of the sketchiest people, not all priests, but, like, was there a trend of, you know what happening to the children, the horrific acts by the priests who are like, ooh, closer to God in some way. It's just like, yeah, money. Money. Yeah, I guess because they, like, people give the money to the church. We called it offering at the Baptist church, so they passed around this little, like, woven basket to everyone in the crowd, every single person. And there's a lot of people. They're making good bank. I guess they're paying the pastors with that money, with the funds to do the thing and to do the teachings and stuff, but there's obviously a lot of corruption that's going on with the certain churches as well. Like, oh god, there's this creepy guy, what's his name? I saw a clip of him on YouTube, and he's like some big, it's probably Baptist Southern church guy, and there's this like weird video of him, like someone's maybe asking him some questions, and he's just like, you can tell he's like sketch vibes hardcore, and he's trying to just mask and pretend to be this, like, I think he was getting pissed off or something. I think someone was asking him why he had such a nice car and everything and clothes, and that he was spending all his money on this like really expensive stuff. Like, he was very materialistic, and it was just like, oh, I'm helping the people. And he had crazy eyes. He had like demon eyes, and it was really unsettling and creepy and scary. And it's just like, some of the worst people are running the churches. It's not a good statistic, I feel. I feel like, I could be totally wrong, but it's like, are more churches than not sketchy, you know? Jesus loves you and needs your money. Each to their own, though. Yeah. If people want to give their money because it makes them feel good and it gives them something, like, it is easier to believe in that thing sometimes. It's progressed, like, it's gotten less shame issues going on with it, which is what's silly too, is like the rules changed. Like, I didn't align with the rules back in the day, but then now all of a sudden it's like, oh no, Jesus didn't mean this. Like, they were all like against the gays, which was just like so stupid. Like, what the fuck? And then now it's like, it's integrated, but then it's like, okay, well, that proves the whole thing was bullshit the whole time, because it's like, yeah, who are you to decide who's excluded from Jesus's love, or like who's sinning and whatever? It's like, yeah, that's not, like, we all learned that's not a sin. Like, no one's doing anything wrong by loving who they can't help but love. But it's just like, okay, new rules, you know, and it's, I don't know. It's just like keeps changing. So it's like, yeah, it's just, Jesus's word can just be interpreted in so many different ways and stuff, right? We're back. Hello. This is like a really long live stream. Do I keep going? I'm like judging myself for how long I might be. I don't know. I just have a self-consciousness of like, okay, this is, I've imposed enough on people's experience, like, time to leave, but I could just like not stop. Like, I could just talk forever. I don't know. It's like, it's been a very fun time in convo. You look like a 90s lady from a TV show. Haha. I started watching the second season of that 90s show, but I didn't get that far. And I like prefer that 70s show, but at the same time I can't watch it. It just, the character in it that's part of the Scientology thing that was doing horrible things like to women, like, I just cannot, I don't think I can separate that in my head to like watch that 70s show kind of. Like, every time I see him, I just think of the whole Scientology thing and the Scientology thing in general, because, like, the whole thing's screwed up and how they just, like, can't end that cult. So, yeah, I was vibing a bit more with that 70s show rather than the reboot, that 90s show, but it's still fun. For sure, it's still fun. But, don't condone that shit. Bro, off her meds. Yeah. I know this may not be relevant to the conversation, but you have wonderful eyes. You're beautiful. Oh, thank you. Sucks because he was a cool character. I'm not condoning. Oh, are you saying you don't condone that shit? Yeah, obviously. He did get charged then, right? Like, was he... I just know Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher were trying to write they wrote these letters that they, if everyone knows the whole thing, that they didn't want to go public, like, they were supporting him, but then they had this foundation for survivors of, like, ABUSE or something like that. It just, like, made them look really hypocritical. And then they tried to say something like, this doesn't mean that we don't believe the victims, but they clearly in their letters, it really seemed like they were trying to say, like, oh, this guy is such a good guy, like, how could he do this? But, like, you would never know. It's just the amount of times, too, that, like, sketchy people live double lives, that you don't see the dark side. It's just, like, the serial unalivers, like, to bring it back to that topic and, like, the documentaries I would watch. It's just crazy how a lot of them live this just, like, double life. And they would seem completely normal. Like, people would be like, there's no way he could do something. There's no way he could do that. It's crazy. Have people delved into the recent, like, it was maybe brought up in a podcast, because there's, like, a recent serial unaliver. I don't know if he's considered a serial unaliver. Well, it's, like, a mass unaliver. The guy with, like, the tattoos, the, like, skeleton tattoo thing, like, there was all these freaking people apparently on TikTok fangirling over this, like, serial unaliver, and it was just really weird. Like, they were, I don't know if they were, like, fetishizing or, like, romanticizing the whole thing. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't know why people thought also he was, like, so attractive or something. Like, he wasn't even, in my opinion. And it's just weird, like, the unalivers that get the letters from the women in the mail and stuff like that. Like, those women need help. They need serious help. Like, something is not okay. But yes, I agree with Bill. No one in this world that is normal. I vibe with that, yeah. What's his name? It's just the recent guy. Wade Wilson was his name. Or is he on, like, death row or something? It's, like, scary. What? Sets TikTok ablaze with mysterious hand signal flash as he's sentenced to death. And yeah, it was just like, he was probably just loving the attention he was getting on the TikTok and everything. And, like, ew. It was just like, how could people put past the horrific things he was doing or had done? And I don't get it. But each to their own, right? Each to their own. Fritz, oh no. You're not vibing with the hair. We were vibing with the hair, like, this whole time. And I almost went an entire live stream with everyone vibing with the hair. But it's just not always for everyone, and I get that. I think I'm gonna end the chat or the live in general. But if you vibe with being neurotic, being into all things earth drama, celebrity drama, political things, although like I've only have one episode of this podcast that I started. I don't know. The topics for that one were, just let me look up the title of what I named it so I don't mess it up. It was hermit mode. I was talking about like being in hermit mode, like not being able to deal with other people's energy, like the other humans. Hermit mode, Blake Lively, enmeshed as a society. So it was sort of my take on the Blake Lively drama that's been going on, like people trying to cancel her for one interview that she was being kind of rude. I don't know if my podcast, yeah, obviously my podcast is not gonna be for everyone. I'm just having fun pretending to be an actual influencer and like doing promo or whatever. And I did want to share the word that if anyone else wants to start a podcast, like I didn't know this until tonight because I decided to start a podcast and then I did some research, but I didn't know this until tonight that you can put podcasts on Spotify now for free. I don't think you could always do that. There's something called Spotify for Podcasters, and it gives you the RSS feed too, so it's like you're hosting it on Spotify and then from there you can get it onto Apple Podcasts, I think also for free, but you need something called an RSS feed to submit to Apple Podcasts. Like the Spotify, you can just like upload it for free and everything to there. But if you wanted to put on Apple Podcasts, you would need a host. So Spotify now seems to be like a free host you can use. You still have to submit to Apple. I think it has to get approved in some way or something like that. But I might try to do that and get on Apple. But I don't know if it's going to be approved because, I don't know, this video I watched with the person talking about it was saying to have like an appealing cover art for the podcast and all this and that, like, you know, marketing things, and I don't know if mine's gonna be that interesting. It's just like black screen and black font, like it's just this. I want to do some more interesting, fun, I don't know, cover art or promo stuff for it eventually, but I'm gonna try and commit to this one. Like a lot of my projects I don't commit to, but we'll see how it goes. Anyways, thanks everyone for joining. This was a fun chat, enjoyed it, and I should probably try and get some sleep. It's like 4 a.m. where I am, so I should probably just, okay, I finished my iced tea, so it's time to go to bed. Okay, love you guys. Bye Stuart, thanks for joining. Longtime fans too in the chat, shout out. Everyone enjoy their night or day and take care.